Hi folks, so this is going to be one of the more important or significant videos that I put out, at least as we look ahead to April and May. The last video I did was a weekly overview for the week that we currently are in. And today, as I record this, it is March the 1st, 2024. So the last video I did would have covered us from about the 25th of February to March the 3rd. And that last video still remains current for the energies that take us through March the 3rd and March the 4th. Absolutely no question. And if you want an overview of the week that we're in, that is the one to look at. I want to express my gratitude for the people who left comments and positive feedback for that video. I felt like it was a little bit dense, and I was almost tempted to do another video to try and clarify and summarize it. And then I saw some of the comments come in, and that relaxed me. Different astrologers have different areas of focus. So I know that as I put content out there, I'm going to do my best to cater to as wide an audience as possible because these are general videos and I'm not looking at any specific birth chart. And also, I do feel like I have to be somewhat conscious of the fact that not everyone is going to have information related to their birth chart. There are a few comments. I'm going to finish up this housekeeping in 30 seconds. There are a few comments that were left on my last 2 or 3 videos that I've hearted to show that I have read them, but they concern folks expressing that they don't quite have the basic information on astrology or what the houses mean and all that kind of stuff. And I am going to just know that I've got a note out there to address that, and I will. Either by replying to your comments in general or putting out a different video. But thank you to those who, thank you to everyone who has helped this channel grow in the way that it has since the beginning of this year. And for those of you who leave comments and have been supporting it, not only absolutely from the very beginning and and since then as well. So really, I can't express what a joy it has been to discover a community, as I've mentioned in my past couple of videos, around this channel. It's still relatively small by YouTube's standard, but I don't care. If I was so intent on building a massive YouTube following, the nature of my videos and some of the polish that I admit they lack, they don't have a title slide, and I just publish them with one of the options that YouTube provides. So that's why some of my covers sort of images can be goofy looking, but I choose the least goofy looking and put it out there. I'm trying to minimize post-production time and at least get the content out there. And I think that what has developed over time is a community around people who seem to find that content relevant and helpful. And for that, and for the feedback that I get as a result of it, I am very, very grateful, really and truly. So let me go ahead and express that. And thank you for the comments related to that last video. It was really helpful to hear from you and know that the information was resonating. Let's pick up from there, okay? So I will be doing another video that's going to be a weekly overview either on Sunday or Monday coming up. So I'm going to keep that as a regular practice so that then as I put out videos for the rest of the week, they're somehow in at least I know that the week is covered, and that leaves room for me to continue to percolate, to do my individual chart readings to see what comes up for me as I continue to look ahead. And that's really what has led to this particular video. Now, when we were looking at this particular week that we're in, and as I said, I'm doing this on March the 1st, we talked about 2 things. The first half of this week that was taken over by the Sun, Mercury, Saturn conjunction in the sign of Pisces, which occurred on February the 28th. And indeed, for about a week and a half prior to that, even as we look past to the Venus and especially the Mars, I should say, and the Venus conjunctions to Pluto in the sign of Aquarius way back in the second odd week of February, starting the week starting February the 10th or thereabouts. It's all been leading up to some extent. And you might say, Abhi, how can the conjunctions to Pluto in Aquarius be in conversation with the conjunctions with Saturn in Pisces? that's not really what this video is about, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. All I'm trying to give you a sense of is, I've addressed the fact that successive houses can sometimes be in conversation with each other, depending on which houses we're talking about. The first, the second, the seventh, the eighth, the ninth, the 10th, the third, the fourth, all of them can absolutely, developments in the one before can mean that they're in conversation with the developments in the one right after. Doesn't always have to be the case. But the bottom line is the first half of the week we're in, and as planets have moved into the sign of Pisces, starting around February the 20th, the middle of February onwards, actually, let's just say the middle of February onwards, I would say that a certain heaviness that I had talked to you about has come into the picture related to the sign of Pisces in all of our charts. And when I say the sign of Pisces in our charts, I mean the house in which the sign of Pisces sits. I use whole signs, WHOLE, which places an entire sign in an entire house, starting by identifying the sign that is rising in the east as your rising sign, which is what it is, and the entire sign is placed in your first house. I'm not going to argue about the merits or demerits of any system. As I say to my clients, if you read 1,000 charts through a particular house system, it will make sense to you within that lens that you're using. But just since you're watching this video, when I say the Pisces part of your chart, I mean the house occupied by the sign of Pisces. Now, if you use Placidus and Pisces is, covers a part of two different houses, I'm going to let you take from this what feels relevant and useful to you. So, and even more, starting the beginning of the year, I was urging you to take actions related to the sign of Capricorn and the sign of Aquarius. And the sign of Aquarius still is relevant till about March 22nd, but especially this week that we're in and next week. Because they would allow the forward-looking, the exciting, the opportunity-laden, the growth-laden parts of our chart, the Aries and the Taurus part of the chart, to move forward. We've got Chiron and the North Node transiting Aries, and we've got Jupiter and Uranus transiting Taurus. And starting the Capricorn new moon around January 10th or so, I'd been encouraging everyone to, and these are the different titles of my videos, get on the horse, start to take action, to bring 2024 in. What are the goals that you're pursuing? How do you want to move forward? And I had mentioned that by the time we get to February 20th or thereabouts, and I actually think that this energy started a little bit earlier than February 20th, a certain heaviness and a seriousness would enter the picture, because as planets started to move into the sign of Pisces, we would become sensitive to the fact that Saturn had moved into Pisces in March 2023 and was trying to bring both clarity and stability and a sense of consequence and learning, and encouraging us to take wise and mature and careful and thought through actions, responsive and not reactive in the Pisces part of the chart, to sort out crises that may have been occurring in the Pisces part of the chart since 2014, 15, 16. We have been missing Saturn's energy in the Pisces part of the chart, the house where these crises have been occurring, to try and bring some sort of order and stability and direction, even though Saturn's transit through any part of the chart is going to come with a certain amount of heaviness and reality check. And the first half of this week, we were getting ready for one of the big milestones related to the Pisces part of the chart, which was that all the personal planets, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, are in currently what I am calling conjunction season. As they came into the sign of Aquarius, they conjuncted with Pluto. Now that they're getting ready to move into the sign of Pisces, or already in Pisces, their conjunctions with Saturn and Neptune. Once they go into the sign of Aries, we're going to talk about conjunctions to the North Node and Chiron. And once they move into the sign of Taurus, we're talking about conjunctions to Jupiter and Uranus. So, and all the transiting planets, pretty much for the most part, that count as far as this are right now, as I've mentioned to you, in 4 signs: Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. And after March the 20th, and this is one of the key points related to this video that I want to communicate, after March the 20th, 22nd, until about May the 20th, I would say that actually for the duration of the shadow period and the retrograde period of the next Mercury retrograde, the vast amount of action is going to get concentrated into 3 signs: Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. It isn't till the end of May, between May 20th and 25th, that the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter move into Gemini and open up this vista. Now, we can't discount Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto in Aquarius is going to continue to be in conversation with these planets, particularly as we head towards the March 24th to 25th lunar eclipse in Libra. That particular eclipse is trine Pluto in Aquarius, and as planets move into the sign of Taurus, they're going to square Pluto in Aquarius. So we don't count out Pluto ever, and we don't count out Pluto in Aquarius, but Pluto in Aquarius exercises its influence more as a result of transiting planets aspecting it, whether it is the full moon lunar eclipse at the end of March, March 24th, I think. Here, I'll get you the exact date, March 25th. March 25th for me, Pacific time, at midnight, exactly. And as the planets start to enter the sign of Taurus, they're of course going to square Pluto in Aquarius. But the bulk of the planetary activity is going to sit in Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. Stay with me. Stay with me. You might wonder where this is going, and we're 12 minutes in. This might be a lengthy video. Just stay with me, and let me give you a sense of the next few months. I've already given you a sense of the fact that energies are going to start to coalesce and concentrate in the 3 parts of the chart that kind of feel like they hold the keys to our destiny. I know that sounds like a very dramatic statement, but if you look at the planets, Saturn, Neptune, the North Node, Chiron, Jupiter, Uranus, and the fact that the personal planets and the eclipses are going to be starting to focus in this particular area, and the next Mercury retrograde, you know, the word destiny can imply, you know, the rest of your physical life here, and that may not be completely, but it kind of is, because in order to get to the rest of our life, we've got to make it through the next few months. So the first thing I wanted to alert you to, or just raise, is that as we get into the shadow period of the Mercury retrograde in Aries, and I'm going to talk about that, we're going to get to it, the energy really is going to concentrate on the Pisces, Aries, and Taurus part of the chart. The Aries and Taurus part of the chart, forward-looking, expansive, growth-related. Uranus in Taurus, making you more individual and trying to help you find the right path for you in the Taurus part of the chart, the house occupied by Taurus. Not really paying attention to the conventional way of doing things, but really encouraging you to think about who you truly are and what your true path is in the Taurus part of the chart. Jupiter transiting Taurus since May 2023 to May 2024. May 25th of 2024 is when it enters Gemini, ending a 12-13 year cycle, starting a 12-13 year cycle in the Taurus part of our chart. If you're on the right path, it will try to spiral you into the next phase. If you're on the wrong path in the Taurus part of the chart, it will try and create an ending that can at least give you the opportunity to get onto the right path, whether to do something on the side or more wholly or completely in the Taurus part of the chart. Chiron, healing long-standing woundedness in the Aries part of the chart that goes back to childhood. The North Node asking you to apply yourself, experience growth, chase the carrot at the end of the stick related to the Aries part of your chart. That is where the growth is. That is where the soul is going to learn and experience what it has incarnated to learn and experience. With the North Node, as I always say, remain grounded and make sure that your basic security needs are being met. And as I said at the start of this video, Neptune, unless the sign of Pisces, it applies that Neptune's artistic or spiritual influence is a benefit to you. Neptune creating a sense of loss and chaos in the Pisces part of the chart, a kind of gaslighty, deceptive, thieving way of moving towards loss that Saturn, since March 2023, has been trying to create some visibility around. And that visibility is both around what is actually has been going on in the Pisces part of the chart, but also visibility around maturing us, our lessons, what we have done to contribute to that, and also how do we move forward? What are we releasing? What is right for us? What is not right for us? And of course, with Saturn, there is the energy of what are you going to build in the Pisces part of the chart by the time Saturn's transit is done by the beginning of 2026, so that it becomes a really strong and stable foundation on which to build the rest of your life. There is a consequence element, there's a reality element, and there's a how do I apply myself in as present and responsible and savvy a manner, wise, effective a manner, responsive and not reactive a manner, so that I can actually create a strong and solid foundation in the Pisces part of the chart. There is an element of trade-off. There is an element of what is not meant for me in this part of the chart with Neptune's influence there and the chaos that has been going on since 2014, 15, 16. And that is the gateway that we have to enter through. So the first half of this week that we're in, the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn conjuncted in Pisces. If you want to know more about what that means, that is not the purpose of this video. This background I have given you so far, 17 minutes in, will help you for the rest of this video. But if you want to know more about that Sun, Mercury, Saturn conjunction, take a look at my last video where I spent time talking through that, and even I think some videos before, but the last one. Okay. The second half of this week, now we're really starting to get into the, and this is why that weekly overview I did, I can confirm really will take us to Sunday, Monday, March the 3rd or 4th. The second half of the week sees Venus transiting through Aquarius, making some important aspects, trining the South Node in Libra, and squaring Uranus in Taurus. The idea being that Venusian activities, building relationships, attracting opportunities, financial opportunities, relationship opportunities, creative opportunities, depending on where the sign of Aquarius sits in your chart, beautification opportunities, increasing flow, harmony. Venus through Aquarius and activities and actions related to Venus and Aquarius will help us release what we need to in the Libra part of the chart where the South Node is. And the South Node eclipse on March 24th. The South Node eclipses in Libra, the important dates would be the middle of October when the eclipse actually occurred, the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. I think it was October 14th. The week before and after December 13th, December 14th. The week before and after January 24th, 2024. And the week of March 24th, 2024, the week before, week after. That Libra full moon solar eclipse, lunar eclipse on March 24th trines Pluto in Aquarius. As the personal planets entered Aquarius at around the time when they normally do, around January 20th onwards, often. And January 20th is an important date because the Sun and Pluto moved into Aquarius hand in hand. March the 5th is when Mercury came in and met up with Pluto. By the middle of February, we were dealing with Mars and Venus meeting up with Pluto, and then Mars and Venus conjuncted in Aquarius on February 21st. Remember all that with me? There are videos covering all that. But this narrative is really important, so just continue to bear with me. As the personal planets conjuncted Pluto, they alerted you to Pluto's agenda over the next 19 years in Aquarius. Pluto will be going back to Capricorn in the second half of this year, and we will be called upon to finish up the transformation that Pluto was doing in the Capricorn part of the chart since 2008. The current Mercury cycle, dealing with communications and transactions and communication and transaction related growth, is also related to the sign of Capricorn and takes us through April. I'll come back to that. Stay with me. The second half of this week sees Venus playing an important role in asking us to take action. And as I mentioned to you, the week after the full moon, which is where we're in, is ideally the most productive time in the lunar month. The energies are balanced. And if you found yourself productive over the past few days and over the next 3, 4, 5 days, take advantage of it. And this is the biggest piece of advice I can give you right now. If Venusian activities, attracting, building relationships, attracting, building finances, smoothing things over since the middle of February, trying to approach things in a harmonious way, to counter Mars's presence in Aquarius as well. Especially till the end of the week and Monday, Tuesday, get those tasks and activities done. Where does the sign of Aquarius sit in your chart? What house does it occupy? Taking these actions will help you release what needs to be released in the Libra part of your chart and allow Uranus to create an authentic path for you in the Taurus part of your chart. But the actions and activities are related to Venus's transit through Aquarius. Both the South Node and Uranus and Taurus are waiting on Venus, on us tapping into Venusian energy in the Aquarius part of the chart to release what needs to be released in the Libra part of the chart and build what needs to be built in the Taurus part of the chart in an authentic way. Okay, well, got it. So that's what we need to do over the next 3 or 4 days while we recover from the Saturn-Mercury-Saturn-Sun conjunction in the sign of Pisces earlier this week. When I did my video on the Venus-Mars conjunction on the 21st, I told you of this following timeline. The Venus-Mars conjunction occurred on February the 20th, 21st, and it almost occurred in July of 2023, but did not because Venus went retrograde. And I mentioned this is the heart of this video. This is the essence of this video. This is why I'm doing this video. This is the timeline I want to alert you to. Sometime in July, August of last year, as we head into August, we may have had a sense of what it is that we wanted, what it is that we wanted to create, a sense or a desire of how it is that we wanted to move forward. I've described it as the carrot at the end of the stick. All right, let's go. But as we entered September, late August, September, there was and since then, till the middle of February, there's been this, but not yet, but wait. And any attempt to move forward in that direction has been thwarted. By the time you had the Venus-Mars conjunction on February 21st, as I mentioned in that video, I titled it From Not Yet to Now, whatever it was that needed to clear, to complete, to end, to allow you to move forward towards that carrot at the end of the stick had occurred. All the planets are direct currently. I don't think I'm wrong about that. The next planet to go retrograde will be Mercury on April the 1st. As I've mentioned to you time and time again, till March 26th, 27th, 28th, if you want to say till March 25th, it is all systems go. Continue to move forward, continue to build. And you will be juggling till about March 22nd, until when Mars will be in Aquarius. You will be juggling tasks in the Aquarius part of the chart to help the growth in the Taurus part of the chart. And of course, by the time we get to about March 22nd, we're going to be heading towards that Libra South Node eclipse. And stabilizing and dealing with the sense of responsibility in the Pisces part of the chart. I refer to this as this kind of Two of Pentacles in the Toro deal. We are putting our energy towards forward movement and growth and exciting opportunities in what we want, and taking the action in the Aquarius part of the chart to experience the growth in the Taurus part of the chart, but also the work that we're doing in Aquarius contributes to releasing what we need to release with the South Node and the South Node eclipse in Libra, and move towards the North Node in Aries. And the second thing we're juggling is, with all these personal planets getting ready to, and actually two of them already have, conjuncting Saturn and then Neptune, the Pisces part of the chart now for the first half of this year is this. It's almost as if the universe is taking us by the shoulders and saying, here's what is actually going on that has been mysterious to you, and what is your relationship to it, and what do you need to do to stabilize this? What do you need to do to stop the energy leaks and the bleeding in the Pisces part of the chart so it does not thwart or get in the way of how it is that you need to move forward? As I've already given you a heads up, by the time the North Node eclipses start to move into the Pisces part of the chart, which they will do in the second half of the year, the Pisces part is just going to be an astonishing area of focus. Not only are we going to be trying to stabilize the crises that have been brewing since 2014, 15, 16 in this part of the chart, when we had the South Node go through that part of the chart and Chiron there, we are also going to need to lean into that part of the chart, maybe a different set of energies related to that part of the chart to experience growth there. It will be helpful to get the North Node and the North Node eclipses into the Pisces part of the chart. It will just take the edge off some of the heaviness and will help us understand not only how to process lessons and consequence and deal with the reality and the loss that we're going to be experiencing in the Pisces part of the chart, but also how we can experience growth through activities related to that part of the chart. But it's not here yet. It's not here yet. So till March the 25th, 20th, 22nd, 25th, whatever you want it, or 28th, until Mercury goes retrograde, but I'm going to say a few days before that, we're going to start to feel the slowdown on April the 1st. It is all systems go, and you are juggling action and activities in the Aquarius part of the chart and stabilizing and getting real in the Pisces part of the chart. And the actions in the Aquarius part of the chart, especially the Venusian actions, especially through Sunday, Monday of this week, the Mars-related actions next week. You got a heads up of what my next week's video is going to be focusing on in the sign of Aquarius. If this week has been about Venus trining the South Node and Venus squaring Uranus, next week, the week of March the 4th onwards, 2024, is going to be about Mars trining the South Node and squaring Uranus. By the end of next week, as we head towards the Pisces new moon on March the 10th, the key transits that Venus and Mars need to make, and that the personal planets need to make in the Aquarius part of the chart, will be completed. Even though Venus is in Aquarius till, I think it's like March the 12th, 11th, 12th, and even though Mars is in Aquarius till March the 22nd, it's really this week and next week that counts as action-oriented weeks related to the Aquarius part of the chart. And the growth, the releasing what needs to be released in related to the South Node in Libra, and the actions that need to be taken in the Aquarius part of the chart to allow us to do that, the actions that need to be taken in the Aquarius part of the chart to help Jupiter and Uranus do what they need to do in the Taurus part of the chart, are related to that carrot at the end of the stick that we identified and felt and started to move towards by the end of July of 2023 and into August, that we felt blocked from moving forward any further since September of last year till the middle of February of this year. With the Mars-Venus conjunction Aquarius, the gates opened. It was like, all right, let's go. And till the end of next week at least, and to a lesser extent till March 22nd, we continue to take actions in the Aquarius part of the chart to move forward, knowing that now we are juggling forward-looking actions in the Aquarius part of the chart and trying to seek some stability and process the reality and determine what our relationship is to the chaos in the Pisces part of the chart and bring stability there so that it does not, so that these expansive and these stabilizing Pisces energies work hand in hand so that the Pisces heaviness does not thwart our ability to move forward. With me, the biggest thing that I wanted to convey to you with this video is the fact that these actions related to Venus is going to trine the South Node tomorrow on March the 2nd. Venus is going to square Uranus on Sunday, March the 3rd. So take advantage of the productive vibes and take care of Venusian actions in the Aquarius part of the chart. Next week, Mars comes in. Mars's energy is a little bit edgy. Mars's energy next week is going to be about clearing up some of the debris in the Aquarius part of the chart to build on whatever it is that Venus is going to build. And somewhere, if the Aquarius and Pisces part of the chart in your charts are easily in conversation with each other, the new moon in Pisces that occurs on March the 10th occurs right after Mars is done completing its last aspect in Aquarius, which is to square Uranus. And it could be that all the seed planting and Aquarius-related energy that we have been dealing with since January the 20th or thereabouts manifests as we enter that Pisces new moon cycle, starting March the 10th. Starting March the 10th, we may also have a clearer sense of what actions we want to take in the Pisces part of the chart to wise actions to stabilize that part of the chart and deal with the reality check that Saturn, Mercury, and the Sun have given us as we headed towards February the 28th. Now, let's continue this narrative as we go into April and May, shall we? I told you this was going to be a lengthy but an important video. If July 2023, this is where I want to go. By September, I can't. I don't understand why. By the middle of February, oh, got it. Now, for some people, and again, my gratitude to those of you who are leaving comments, giving me a sense of how the videos resonate. It's just, as we headed to, it's enormous because it's so helpful, so validating. As you know, I interpret charts and transits out of a love for astrology and an excitement and an energy, but I remain skeptical. I remain puzzled that it all works. So when I continue to get validation, not only when I read charts for my clients, but even through the comments left here, it's just so wonderful and exciting. With that Venus-Mars conjunction on February 21st, I know that for some of us, something actually came through and happened that had been stalled since the middle of last year, 2023. Some people have talked about contracts or job offers, or something became clarity. For others of us, it is as if whatever was holding us back, and I really, for everybody, I want you to hear this, whatever was holding us back. Now, endings can be challenging depending on the nature of the ending. But there's a suggestion that with that Mars-Venus conjunction on February the 21st, there was something liberating. And that the mystery of why have I been held back since the middle of last year would have been answered and solved, so that now it's a question of, okay, I can move forward. But, and this is the other big piece that I want to talk about in this video, what does it mean to move forward? What does it mean to be free to move forward? Moving forward implies that we are in place A and we want to move to place, take your pick, B, C, D, E, F, Z, whatever it is. From A to, let's just say that there's an end goal that we want to move to, and let's just for now call it Z. For the purpose of that carrot at the end of the stick that we identified for those of you who this resonates in July, August of last year, let's call that Z, and let's say that we're at A. We may have gone from A to E or A to F by August, only to realize that we had to move back to A in September, and we could not move forward. And we didn't, it was, it's like what, and then, as I said, by February 21st, it was like, all right, whether it is a positive manifestation or an ending that has now allowed me to see that I'm liberated and free to move forward and explains to me why I couldn't move forward prior to this, it's here, and I can. But moving from A to Z not only means that we move from A to Z, it also asks for two critical things at this point in time. Sometimes moving from A to Z, more often than not, means dealing with certain things at A that allow you to move to Z. Hear that again. Sometimes to actually move and pursue that carrot at the end of the stick and to be free to move forward. If it's not a carrot at the end of the stick, if that doesn't resonate for you, what might resonate is wanting to move forward in a certain direction, experience a certain kind of growth since July of 2023, that now you realize that you're free to do so, but it is not a tension-free landscape. And a lot of the tension and the question marks and the caution and the red flags have to do with the Pisces part of the chart. The expansiveness and one of the challenges right now is I don't want the Pisces part of the chart to overwhelm my ability to take Venusian action in the Aquarius part of the chart, so that the expansiveness in the Taurus and on the eclipse axis on Aries Libra is not compromised. So one of the challenges we're dealing with is, can I continue to deal with my responsibilities in the Pisces part of the chart, but also take action, expansive action in the Aquarius part of the chart, so the Pisces part of the chart is not already overwhelming the Aquarius part of the chart. And through that, the eclipse axis on Aries Libra and the growth that the Taurus part of the chart is trying to experience. So as we get ready to move from A to Z, whether you identify it as a longing to move in a certain direction since July, August of last year, or a longing to expand in a certain way, we've established that we're able to do so, hopefully, after that Mars-Venus conjunction on February 21st. But moving in that direction implies that two things need to be looked at. The first thing, which is where we are at, is what needs to be done where you currently are to allow you to move effectively from A to Z. And some of what you may have to contend with could be the actions that need to be taken in the Aquarius part of the chart, Venusian this week, Martian next week, to some extent active till March 22nd. Remember, it's all systems go and all forward movement till about March 25th or so, when we're about 5 days away, or March 27th, March 28th, till we're about 3 to 5 days away from Mercury going retrograde in Aries. I'm still building. I still have no idea how much longer this video is going to go, but stay with me. And the other half of the actions have to do with the fact that there are things that need to be dealt with at A in order to move you to Z has something to do with whatever needs to be stabilized and managed in the sign of Pisces, so it doesn't spill over and stop your growth. Both are essential, both are necessary. And by the end of next week, Mercury, the first of the personal planets, will be meeting up with Neptune in Pisces, and you will really have what you are experiencing in the sign of Pisces is going to grow in depth and scope, but we're going to leave that for next week's video. Let's keep going. The second thing that you need to know if you're going from A to Z and you feel like whatever the condition was that was holding me back is now no longer present or relevant, either because something has manifested or because whatever was holding me back is no longer present. The second thing is, are you clear about what Z is? Now, it's one thing to have a Z in mind in July, August of 2023. It's another thing to look at Z again on March the 1st, 2024 and say, what is that end goal? It is unlikely that if we go from the scenario that you want to experience a certain kind of growth, that the nature of that growth will have changed. So I don't think it's going to be this massive identity crisis, because I think the general direction in which you want to experience the growth and what you want to do is going to remain the same. It's the specifics that count. If you're going to move from A to Z, are you clear? You might be clear about the overall philosophy and aim of Z, but are you clear about, is it still the same? Are you still moving in the same direction that you wanted to move in July, August? You might be from an overall perspective, but the specifics, are they the same? So, in order to move from A to Z, we have to contend with two things. What Z are we moving towards, and what do we need to do at A to help move us from A to Z? Some of those actions are expansive, seed planting, relationship building, actions being taken in the sign of Aquarius, and some of those actions is contending with the seriousness, the gravity, the reality, and the stability that the Pisces part of our chart demands. And till March 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, we continue to move in that direction. The emphasis and the sense of priority till about that date is going to be more after the end of next week, after the Pisces new moon is going to end up on March the 10th, is going to be more on the Pisces side of things. But till March the 10th, still please give the Aquarius part of your chart the love and attention that it, and the meeting of goals related to the Aquarius part of the chart that will help you release what needs to be released in the Libra part of the chart and free Jupiter and Uranus to create the growth in the Taurus part of your chart. Till the end of next week, please continue to make that a priority and balance it with the responsibilities that are coming down on you in the Pisces part of the chart. After March the 10th, it's going to be more Pisces based. But March the 10th, Mercury moves into Aries. March the 22nd, Mars moves into Pisces. And with that, some of the axis shifts. The Aquarius part of the chart quiets down. Pluto's still there. We're still going to experience results of all these activities as the planets enter Taurus and square Pluto, and the 25th March South Node eclipse, lunar eclipse, trines Pluto in Aquarius. But we move forward to the best of our ability. There's an element of the unknown, and there's an element of fate and destiny that is going to come into play very shortly as we head into eclipse season. And for me, eclipse season is going to start the week before the lunar eclipse, starting March the 18th. March the 17th, March the 18th. And eclipse season for me will continue because the solar eclipse in Aries is on April the 8th, and it will continue till April the 15th, tax day. Mercury's shadow period, I think, takes us roughly, as I said, from March the 20th to May the 20th. March the 20th to May the 20th, the actions and activities primarily focused in Pisces, Aries, Taurus, during that Mercury shadow period in Aries and the retrograde and clearing the shadow period. Amazing. Some of the questions that we are experiencing with regard to take the actions that you need to take in the Aquarius part of the chart. Take the actions you need to take to stabilize the Pisces part of the chart. But remain open to the fact that you're going to make a certain amount of forward movement until March the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, and then the Mercury retrograde will hit. The purpose of getting to March 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, and I know I'm repeating myself, is to take the actions in the Aquarius part of the chart, but also take stock of the, it's to end. And a lot of these actions in March are going to be about, remember I said we're moving from A to Z. We finally can. A lot of the actions in March are going to be about dealing with A. In order to move forward, what do you need to sort out? What do you need to stabilize? What do you need to end? What do you need to contend with? So that by the time you're looking at April and May and June, you are free to go. Freer, less fettered. And you may manifest things related to the seeds you're planting in the Aquarius part of the chart and the Pisces part of the chart during the month of March, especially as you head towards March 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. You might, with that Pisces new moon on March the 10th. You might see some manifestations, see some signs of progress of moving forward. But there's still that overall question that you are going to be dealing with, and you're going to have to get comfortable with the uncertainty of what the future looks like related to the specifics of what Z is really looking like on March the 1st, 2024, as opposed to July, August 2023. I hope you're with me, and I hope this is resonating. Because the lunar eclipse in Libra on March the 24th, 25th is completely in conversation with which direction we're heading in. It's completely in conversation with what to leave behind in A in order to make it to Z. A and Z could be a location, A and Z could be an end state. The Z I'm talking about is where you want to go. Whether you identify it as something you were longing to start and do and move in a certain direction at the end of July, the specifics of which you might be questioning in March 2024, but the overall direction, I doubt that you will be questioning it. Because with Jupiter and the North Node in Aries and Taurus, they exercise way too powerful a pull for you to radically, unless you have been so on the wrong path that Jupiter and the North Node are finally making clear to you that you might have the opportunity to move onto the right path. The quality, the general sense of where you want to go is going to remain the same. It's the specifics that I'm wondering about. And the specifics are important because what you're trying to manifest and what you want to manifest has to answer to those specifics. Do you still want to work at the same company or not? The direction may be the same. The overall goal may be the same. Are you going to get it here, or are you going to get it here, or are you going to get it here? Do all that kind of stuff. The full moon lunar eclipse on March the 25th trines Pluto, supports the release in the Libra part of the chart. And that release in the Libra part of the chart is critical to allowing us to move towards Z. And some of the Mars energy in Aquarius, which is going to take over next week, and it will take us to March the 22nd, when Mars leaves Aquarius and moves into Pisces, is going to help us to create the new based on the seeds we're planting with Venus's energy by the end of this week. And even to some extent next week, because Venus does not move into Pisces until March the 11th. But the next few days are really important for Venus. Mars's energy is going to help clear some of the energies as we head through March. Might be a little bit combative, because as new things start to come up and manifest, again, you have this thing of what do I need to release and what do I need to deal with in A to help me move forward to Z. The new moon solar eclipse on April the 10th in Aries. April the 8th, forgive me, is conjunct to the minute. To the minute. The sun, when I look at the new moon, and I know that the eclipse time can be different from the new moon, but it's the new moon that I look at. When I look at the new moon in Aries on April the 8th, the sun and the moon are at exactly the right degree and minute as we expect them to be. But so is Chiron. This is why I love astrology, because you can't make this stuff up. We have a solar eclipse that is exactly not 30 minutes apart, not 4 degrees apart, all of which would be conjunct Chiron, but to the minute conjunct that new moon eclipse. I mean, if that isn't a liberating eclipse, I don't know what is. That addresses the factors that have been holding us back. That makes us contend with the growth. Remember, the North Node and Chiron have just, for some people by March the 5th, for some people around February the 15th, conjuncted. All this earth-shaking change with the Mars-Pluto conjunction and the Venus-Pluto conjunction in the middle of February, us heading to Sun and Mercury and Saturn conjuncting February 28th, us dealing with Venus bringing opportunities, hopefully, and us taking advantage of Venus's activities in Aquarius, and next week, Mars, and continue to take advantage of building in the Aquarius part of the chart to release in the Libra part of the chart and free Jupiter and Uranus do what they do in the Taurus part of the chart. In the middle of all this, we cannot ignore that we've had Chiron and the North Node conjunct, either in the middle of February or the beginning of March, however you want to calculate your North Node as the North Node or the true node. Not getting into that here. Also, with the eclipses, the prevailing aspect, and this is going to start to become more and more important as we head to the middle of March, is Jupiter and Uranus conjuncting in Taurus as we head towards April the 20th. So, carrot at the end of the stick, where you want to go, becomes clear. A desire for growth, July, August 2023. Thwarted September to February. February, either something manifests or becomes clear what direction to move in. As we head into March, actions needing to continue to be taken in the Aquarius part of the chart, growth related directly to where you want to go, related directly to moving forward towards Z, even if the specifics of Z, and this is really important, are not completely clear. but the general direction absolutely remains so. When we talk about having to deal with things at A, and you're waiting for things to manifest and come back based on the seeds you've been planting in the Aquarius part of the chart and contend with stabilizing the chaos in the Pisces part of the chart, the specifics related to Z might still be in question. It is going to be the eclipses on March the 24th, and that eclipse period I outlined from the middle of March to, let's say, April 15th. For simplicity's sake, let's say March 15th to April 15th, that will sort out, that will bring things about, that will enable you to see what those specifics for Z are going to be. Fate, destiny, the universe is going to play a hand in this. And you are going to be actively, as I said, when Mercury goes retrograde, you've heard me say this before, what is in your blind spot, what has been in your blind spot, is often revealed. Often it is disappointing and sobering. But it is the universe's way of saying you've experienced all the growth that you need to explore in this direction. You thought you were moving forward towards this scenario. Guess what? Here's something you did not know about this scenario. So now you've got to go back to the drawing board and see if you still want to pursue that scenario, even though it's not what you were thinking, or whether you're going to take what you now know and continue to move in the direction that is right for you, but factor in and change the overall plans based on what you now know. And April 1st and April 25th, sometimes things become clear around the very start of Mercury retrograde, and by the time Mercury goes direct, around that date, it's sort of this kind of dot the I here and cross the T here. Something becomes clear here, and really kind of, it's like an opening parentheses and a closing parentheses. And the degrees that Mercury is going to be, March 20th to May 20th. Think about it that way. So we continue to move forward and plant seeds in the Aquarius part of the chart and stabilize the Pisces part of the chart, understanding that the month of May has us moving towards Z while the specifics may not be clear, and remaining comfortable and being in communication with the universe around what do you want Z to really look like? I thought I knew what I wanted it to look like in July, August of last year, but where am I headed now that I can move forward and pursue what I want to pursue? But I am also now really present to what some of my challenges are in the Pisces part of the chart and aware of how it could get in the way of me moving forward. It is all hands on deck. It is hands on the wheel. Middle of March, as we head into the eclipse season, the universe, or God, or spirit, will take the wheel. And your sense of preparation and your sense of... The biggest thing that I can say to you after all of this, and I feel like I've finally gotten out everything that I want to get out as I look ahead for the next few weeks. Forward movement, forward movement, forward movement till about March 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. Mercury goes retrograde. For those of you who have Mercury retrograde in your birth chart, you might go, oh, I did not know this before. I know this now. I am decisive. For the rest of us who have Mercury direct in our birth chart, we might go, oh, I did not know this. Now I know this. What does this mean? I'm not going to be clear about it until after April 25th, but I will. And then after April 25th, as we head into May and June, again, forward, forward, forward. Z as a destination may be manifestations around that, may not, of the kind that you are hoping, may not appear completely until May, June, early July. Just warning you. Just warning you. And the preparation that you can do between now and March the 25th. And chances are you're going to be pretty aligned with, if you know the Aquarius part of the chart and what you're trying to create and manifest there, how it can help release what needs to be released in the Libra part of the chart, how it can help grow the Jupiter part of the chart, which is the Taurus part of the chart, forgive me, which is going to become so, as we head towards April, full of promise and excitement with the Jupiter-Taurus conjunction. That is a primary aspect related to both these eclipses. The only thing about the April, the reason why I say May, June, July is the thing I don't like about the April solar eclipse is that Mercury is retrograde at the time of that eclipse. It's not as crippling as the Virgo new moon that we had in the middle of September when the ruler of that new moon was retrograde. And I told you then that that Virgo month till the Libra new moon was, things were just, it would be hard for things to move forward. The seeds would be planted, but we wouldn't see forward movement until the Libra new moon started to sort of free that. Mercury was free to move forward with greater velocity. And we continue to see results of related to that new moon in Virgo in the middle of September till the Virgo communication cycle ended in December. And the acceleration happened after the Virgo new moon cycle was done, as we head into the middle of October, November, December. This brings me to something I said earlier in the video, but I'm going to say again. Till April the 11th, or thereabouts, the communication cycle, we're in a Capricorn communication cycle. I'm going to say something really important. The key to success, the key to ensuring that the growth and the promise and the direction that you need to move in, related to the actions you are now having to take in the Aquarius part of the chart to support the Aries-Libra axis of the eclipses and the Jupiter-Taurus transits through, Jupiter-Uranus transits through Taurus. The way to make sure that the path forward, that you have all the options open, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to ensure that the crisis and the stability and the seriousness with which you need to manage the Pisces part of the chart does not thwart. You still have to manage it and stabilize it. But what you're trying to do during March, as you're dealing with, as I said, if you want to move from A to Z, what do you need to deal with at A in order to move to Z? I mean, think of it as a travel metaphor. Actually, think of it as a moving metaphor. You can't move from one apartment to another, even if they're neighboring apartments, without cleaning out and packing the apartment that you're in. Let's just say that you're moving from one apartment to the apartment next door. A significant amount of activity as far as related to that move has to do with the apartment you're currently in and what needs to be done there. What needs to be packed, what needs to be thrown away, what needs to be cleaned, what needs to be sorted out. Once that is done, the move is easy. Now, you do need to know where you're moving to and what Z looks like and what those specifics are about. And a big part of what I'm trying to say here is the general direction is going to be clear. You're going to be planting those seeds in the Aquarius part of the chart and trying to not let Pisces thwart things. But those specifics, remember with the eclipses and things being eclipsed in and out and in, is a little bit like, and my clients know, and I say this, banging on 10 or 12 doors, and 11 of those, you're going to be banging your head against them, and the one that is meant for you, your hand will barely touch the knob, and it will swing open, and you will be pulled through. The specifics of Z are going to be worked out through eclipse season. And the way to try and ensure that the Pisces part of the chart does not completely thwart things, you still have to contend with them, and contending with them is a little bit like packing up and cleaning out apartment A to move into apartment B, while not completely knowing where apartment B is until April, until the end of March. Actually, let's just say for some of us it will start to become clear by the middle of March, as we enter into eclipse season, because part of releasing things by March 25th might involve really starting to get a sense of what's not in the picture. And so if I know what's not in the picture, then I have to deal with what is in the picture. The key to make sure that the Pisces part of the chart does not overwhelm the growth is to use the communication cycle, the Mercury cycle in Capricorn. Till the end of March, continue to grow what you've been growing since December the 1st related to the Capricorn part of the chart, because it may bring you a financial foundation, opportunities, a bedrock on which moving from A to Z becomes possible. And managing the Pisces part of the chart becomes easier. And on the 28th of February, when the Sun and Mercury conjuncted, half of that phase was over. And the next phase that we're looking at that takes us into April is expanding and building on what we have built in the Capricorn part of the chart since the beginning of this year. And as you continue to build that, you may find that it gives you mobility as you navigate through the next month. So we're moving from A to Z. The Mars-Venus conjunction on February the 21st, by the time that happened, with all the other aspects that were happening around that time, finally allowed us to move forward. But we're realizing that moving forward, for many of us, is not as simple as, oh, I can just walk into the next apartment or catch the plane, or, you know, whatever that metaphor is. I have to contend with where I am and deal with that first. Prepare, deal with it during March. Do what you can. Utilize March till about the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. Be open to the universe taking the wheel and the eclipses starting to exercise their influence by the middle of March. But do what you need to start preparing, to start packing for the journey, to start cleaning up where you are. So that by the eclipse time, the eclipses come in and say, here's what Z is going to look like, because I'm eliminating all these other options for you. By the time you're done and into eclipse season, and maybe for some of us past April 25th when Mercury goes direct again, as we head into May, June, July, we can be where we want to be. And try to work with Saturn's energy in the Pisces part of the chart to stabilize it, to stand up for yourself where you need to in a responsive and not reactive way, so that the Pisces part of the chart and the stability and the reality check that has become clearer and clearer recently does not limit your options as you move forward. And if it does, trust perhaps that, if it does, just ask yourself the question whether the limitations are actually helping you move towards. One of the things that's a little confusing at present is, as I said, the specifics of what Z looks like. Is it the same as what it was in July, August, or has it modified? It may still be the same direction, but have the specifics changed? And if so, then what is that end game that you're moving towards? Let that end game be defined by the middle of March to the middle of April, or maybe even the middle of May. You may not be able to move fast, perhaps. It's a weird thing. On the one hand, we're entering eclipse season, so we're going to be moving fast. We're entering the whirlpool shortly, at least in a couple of weeks' time. But at the same time, when we're talking about actually moving in a certain direction, feeling like we're closer to where we want to be and feeling a sense of stability and feeling like some of the changes and the uncertainty related to sorting out where we currently are at so that we can be free to move forward is behind us. Could be because that new moon eclipse in April, Mercury's retrograde at that time, could be that it takes us into the end of April or into May, even the middle of May, with the new moon in Taurus. And given the degrees where the new moons are occurring, I need to look at that new moon in Taurus. We can assume that that new moon in Taurus is conjunct Uranus in Taurus. By the time that new moon occurs, when is the new moon in Taurus? It's going to be at 18 degrees on May the 7th. You know what? With that new moon in Taurus, the Sun and Venus and Jupiter are still in Taurus. Indeed, it might be that new moon in Taurus that really allows ourselves to feel like, all right, I can now be mobile in Z. Does this make sense? Does this help you? And contemplate that new moon solar eclipse in Aries conjunct Chiron to the minute, not just to the degree, to the minute. That Mercury retrograde is in Aries, where the North Node eclipse is. I hope this gives you, this is one of the longer videos I've done, but I told you at the start of this video that it was an important video. And hopefully the biggest thing I want to get back to is what, based on what you know today and the fact that you are free to move forward. This is my summary of this video. Based on what you know today and the fact that you are free to move forward, but not without being clear about how the Pisces, how inaction in the Aquarius part of the chart and the nebulousness that is just starting to get clear in the Pisces part of the chart, inaction in the Aquarius part of the chart, and a certain amount of murkiness, nebulousness, energy leaks, financial leaks in the Pisces part of the chart could, yes, you know that you're free to move forward, but it is not completely secure. There are still clouds. Part of those clouds have to do with inaction, making sure that you're planting the seeds in the Aquarius. And part of it has to do with making sure that the Pisces part of the chart does not overtake everything. Till March the 25th, put your attention on sorting out where you are at with an eye towards moving to where you want to be, knowing that the specifics of that will only get clear during the eclipse period. But sort out, clean up this week and next week, especially take action in the Aquarius part of the chart. For the next 3 or 4 days, Venusian action, lean into Venus's energy. Next week, lean into Mars's energy in Aquarius. Venus's energy is more harmonious. It is inviting things in. Mars's energy is going to continue to move towards pursuing goals, but it is also going to be cutting out, especially as you look towards that eclipse on the 25th, what needs to be cut out. But the current agenda till March the 25th is clean up where you currently are at with an eye to where you want to go. Part of that cleaning up, pursuing goals in Aquarius and taking action there. In the Aquarius part of your chart, the house occupied by Aquarius, part of that cleanup, make sure the Pisces part of the chart remains stable. Then enter Mercury retrograde with an eye to what is it, universe, that I did not know that I need to factor in. And it is happening just around the eclipse time anyway, the middle of March to the middle of April. So that by the time you're done moving past Mercury retrograde April the 25th and heading to that new moon in Taurus, you can feel like, all right, I'm here. And use the pending actions that you need to take related to that Mercury Capricorn cycle to give you the means, the expansion, the agency to make this transition. I'm going to change around what I say a little bit at the end. I've been trying to incorporate these messages that I say at the end of the video early on so that it doesn't become this rote thing, because I am starting to get bored with what I say at the end of the video. If you're interested in getting a personal reading with me, my contact information is in the description area below. My email address, you can email me there. I can give you information about rates, etc. If you found this video useful, feel free to share it, tell your friends about it, etc. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, if you haven't already and you find the content useful. Click on the bell icon next to it. On top of that, there's a wiggly bell. If you click on that, you'll be notified when I do new videos. I hope you found this video useful. Comment, like if you did. It increases circulation on YouTube, I think. Thank you for your patience and for sticking with me through this narrative. And more to follow. I'm going to be looking more specifically at the week ahead, either Sunday or Monday. Thank you.